iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office, it's open, my friends. All right, let's take a look at last night's defensive struggle. Not. 43-28, Falcons and Bucks. Man, I was so wrong about the Falcons. I remember when D. Orlando Ledbetter from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution was on my show before the season, and we were joking 3-13, 4-12, 6-3, 4-1 away? Wow, some good stuff there by the Falcons. I want to apologize to all you out there. I wrote yesterday that Matt Ryan was going to have 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. He actually had 344 yards and 4. So I apologize for being awful there. Devonta Freeman, 17 carries, 77 yards, 2 receptions, 28 yards. Giving up a little bit for Taylor Gabriel, who had a couple of reverses there, 2 for 24 and a touchdown and 5 for 52. Justin Hardy, who? Just saying. Julio Jones-Roto, 8 for 111 and a touchdown. Mohamed Sanu, 5 for 74. So these are the guys that did well. And Austin Hooper, we talked about Austin Hooper, 3 for 46 and a touchdown. He had 6 targets. So Jones, Sanu, Gabriel, and Hooper are obviously 4 guys we want to consider in this prolific offense. And of course, when Tevin Coleman comes back. For Tampa Bay, this was a little bit of a mess here. Jameis Winston, 23 for 37, 261 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did get injured at the end. Mike Glennon came on. Pretty good backup. 10 for 11 and a touchdown, 75 yards. We'll see what happens there. I assume Jameis Winston will be back next week. But, let's keep our eyes peeled on that one. Peyton Barber got the start. He had 11 carries for 31 yards. He had 4 receptions for 24 yards. Not a great night, not awful. Anton Smith wasn't very good. I expected more. 5 for 25, and he had 3 receptions for 27 yards. The night belonged to Mike Evans. 11 for 150 and 2 touchdowns. There were some points, so if you saw him, look how tired he looked. He was zonked out there. He could barely move. But, 17 targets. Look at what Atlanta did. What did I tell you yesterday in this very podcast? I said 2 things can happen. They cover everybody else, and they let Evans go, or they cover Evans and let everybody else go. Well, in this case, they covered everybody else and said, Evans, do your thing. 11 receptions, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a fantasy god. Adam Humphries had a late touchdown. So did Cameron Brate. 5 for 46 and a touchdown for Humphries. 5 for 43 and a touchdown for Brate. Not really that special. All right? So now let's take a look. Some news before we start with the game preview. Cody Kessler going to start against the Cowboys. I really don't like that. I understand why Hugh Jackson's doing it because he knows that Josh McCown is not the future of the Browns. He's not the future. And since your team stinks, hasn't won a game all year, let's see what Cody Kessler can do because if Cody Kessler is a bum, well, I'll have to start over next year. Maybe with Jay Cutler, maybe with Brian Hoyer, or maybe with drafting another guy. I would think they're certainly going to draft another guy because Deshaun Watson and our boy from Louisville, pretty good players coming up. Pretty good quarterbacks there. So you want to see what Kessler can do. Kessler's been good, but I think it does downgrade them a little bit. Does downgrade Pryor and Coleman a little bit, but I'll throw Kessler out there. Another big thing that has come up is Randall Cobb, game time decision, very limited, doesn't look like he's 100%. Right now we're looking at Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, and hello Jeff Janis. And of course it does look like Ty Montgomery is back. It looks like Montgomery is back. Not confirmed yet, but that is pretty exciting. All right, so at that point, Janis becomes more of a 4th guy, but if he's in free agency and he's out there, a couple bucks, I'll throw him on my team. All right, but I'm concerned about Cobb. I am. All right, let's start previewing week number 9, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. As of right now, it looks like Ben Roethlisberger will return. I don't really like this move. I understand why Pittsburgh's doing it. They want to get to the playoffs, and they know that Landry Jones is not the guy. However, that being said, Baltimore will spare no expense to try to break Ben Roethlisberger's leg. And I think with Roethlisberger not at 100%, I don't want to risk it. I might have him as my emergency quarterback. That's what I do. I go with Landry Jones and throw Ben out there in the second half if I need to. But I try to give him another week. For Baltimore, I'm very interested in finding out what's going on with Terrence West and Kenneth Dixon. Kenneth Dixon had the bye week. Now, does he get a crack at this job? If he doesn't, I got to figure this out. So let's look at Baltimore for a second. Baltimore has Pittsburgh, then Cleveland. If Kenneth Dixon's not getting the football in the next 2 weeks, there's issues there, and I might have to get rid of him. I might. All right, Dallas at Cleveland. We touched on this game a little bit. Cody Kessler's the quarterback. I think this devalues Gary Barnidge. It devalues Coleman and Pryor. I mean, it's not a mess. Kessler's okay, but it devalues them slightly. I do like McCown, but hey, Kessler's gotten hurt every time he steps on the field. Could certainly get hurt this weekend, right? For Dallas, we're all in on Dak Prescott. Great play. We're all in on Des Bryant. And of course, we're all in on Ezekiel Elliott. I was on a radio show that I do in Houston once a week, and somebody said, should I play Ezekiel Elliott? I'm like, what? Should you play Ezekiel Elliott? Are you kidding me? He's the one guy in football. Him and Antonio Brown, just put him right in. Oh my God, that was crazy. Jacksonville at Kansas City. Alex Smith out, Nick Foles in. Nick Foles has played in the NFL and has done a good job. He'll be fine with Andy Reid. I believe Spencer Ware will be out. Charkandrick West will be in. I'm fine with that too. Macklin, Kelsey. I'm fine with Kansas City. Jacksonville's not going to Kansas City and winning this game. I don't care what you think of Nick Foles. It's not that bad. I'm worried about Blake Bortles. Seriously. Can he get it done? Allen Robinson, TJ Yeldon, Alan Hearns. Is this going to be another week where these guys don't do anything? I'm in like 20 leagues. In one of my leagues, I have Allen Robinson and DeAndre Hopkins. Before this year started, my 3 protects, I was allowed 3 protects in this league. They were Lamar Miller, DeAndre Hopkins, and Allen Robinson. Nobody wanted to be in my division. Now everybody wants to play me. I mean, really? Ridiculous. All right, the Jets and Miami. This game is very interesting to me. Jay Ajayi is going to get the football, but that's not how Miami's going to win this game. Miami's going to win this game by throwing the football. So just play Tannehill this week. I like him. I like Devontae Parker. I love Jarvis Landry this week. I do. I like Ajayi. I think what's going to happen, and a good friend of mine who's on Southwest Florida radio said the following. Miami's going to air it out in the first half, and then they're going to run it in the second half. I absolutely agree with that. They'll be aggressive early, try to build a lead, and then they'll run it as much as possible. So does Tannehill get 35 attempts? Probably. That's about it. For the Jets, Matt Forte. This team goes with Matt Forte. Matt Forte's involved. Matt Forte does well. The Jets compete. If he doesn't, they don't. So do I like Marshall? Of course I do. And Nunwa? Of course I do. But this team is all about Matt Forte. Philadelphia at the Giants. You know, the Giants really need an injection in their team. Beckham is not playing great. Sterling Shepard Roto has disappeared. The offensive line is putrid. There's no tight end. And the running game is awful with Rashad Jennings. At some point, we need to see Paul Perkins. I don't think this is a Paul Perkins week, but I think it's coming soon. The Giants have 3 home games: Philadelphia, Cincinnati, and Chicago. If Rashad Jennings is a dog in any one of these first 2 games, watch and see Paul Perkins getting out there by the 3rd game. They can't continue this way. They need to inject a running game, and Rashad Jennings is not that guy. Okay? He's not. For Philadelphia, Ryan Matthews is not the guy. I don't care what Doug Peterson says. Oh, yeah, we are. Ryan Matthews is still a guy. He's not their guy. Darren Sproles is their guy. Wendell Smallwood is their guy. Ryan Matthews is their goal line guy. He's a goal line guy. I have no problem with Ryan Matthews getting 5 carries a week. 5 carries, 10 yards, 1 touchdown. That's who he is on this team. Maybe he's better on another team, but not on the Eagles. Not the way they want to play. Doesn't fit that team. Josh Huff is gone. Maybe we see more Joriel Green-Beckham. Maybe we see more Nelson Aguilar. That's to be expected. All right, Detroit at Minnesota. Eric Ebron has been a big part of that offense, so is Theo Riddick. I expect them to have very good weeks. Golden Tate, we've talked about Golden Tate before. Golden Tate needs the football early in games. Julius Thomas is the same way with Jacksonville. Feed them early, they're in the game. Don't feed them, they're bored and not paying attention, which is a problem. I don't love Detroit this week, but I think they have a legitimate chance to win. But Pat Shurmur is not a problem. Pat Shurmur knows Sam Bradford. He'll call the right plays. Norv Turner was not happy. Norv Turner was doing some terrible play calling. He was. Jerick McKinnon being back is very helpful as well. I do like Kyle Rudolph in this game, as you know. Carolina against Los Angeles. The Panthers have been putrid defensively this year. Putrid. They overachieved last year, but they're underachieving this year. Kelvin Benjamin, like him, don't love him. Jonathan Stewart back practicing. Really like Greg Olsen this week. For the Rams, how about Kenny Britt? What can we say about Kenny Britt that hasn't been said? How about Kenny Britt's been really good. Kenny Britt's been like a top 15 receiver this year. I know nobody thinks so, but he really has been. So, Case Keenum, at any point, if he sucks, you might see Jared Goff. Could this be the week? It's at home? Maybe, right? I always think you like to bring in your guys, your young guys at home. So, the Rams have Carolina at home, then they're at the Jets, then they're home against Miami. I can absolutely see Jared Goff coming in by week 11. I don't know if I want to start him in New York, but I will start him at home in week 11. All right, New Orleans and San Francisco, I think this is the game of what if. What if Mark Ingram fumbles again? What if Tim Hightower steals 20 carries? What if Carlos Hyde can't play? What if Colin Kaepernick doesn't throw the ball? What if Michael Thomas continues stealing targets from Brandon Cook's Roto? So I think this is going to be a higher scoring game because these teams play at a fast pace. I just don't know if it's easy to predict. I do like Ingram. I do like Hyde if they play. These are bad run defenses. So I think these teams will want to run. But at the end of the game, it may be who passes better wins. And who passes better are the New Orleans Saints because they have Drew Brees and the 49ers have Colin Kaepernick. Enough said. Tennessee at San Diego. These are two teams who played very well this year, but have not gotten a lot of credit, right? A lot of tough losses. But really, one of these teams, if whoever wins this game, their playoff aspirations become a little bit easier. Whoever loses, it becomes a little bit tougher. I tend to like San Diego at home. I know that Tennessee's been pretty good against the run, but Melvin Gordon has been sensational. I'm all in on Melvin Gordon this week. The guy gets 20 to 25 touches a week. If he gets a touchdown, he's like a 20-point player in DFS. I'm worried about Travis Benjamin, but I do like Tyrell Williams. I'm worried about Hunter Henry, but I'm fine with Antonio Gates. For Tennessee, it's a DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry love fest and Delaney Walker. This is a Delaney Walker week, okay? Indianapolis and Green Bay, this is going to be a very, very high-scoring game. You have Ty Montgomery. You have Adams. You have Nelson. We don't know about Cobb. We have Jeff Janis. Get a lot of guys there. Montgomery is going to get at least 5 to 10 rushes, and he's going to get 5 to 10 receptions. Okay, so we start him. We're going to stack this game for DFS. Indianapolis, Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton. There's nobody on Green Bay who could stop T.Y. Hilton. So if you're going to stack this game and you go like Adams, Montgomery, Hilton, that's a smart play. Super smart play for you. Andrew Luck will have a good game. You can't run against Green Bay. I don't like Frank Gore this week, but I do like Hilton and Moncrief. And Dwayne Allen is back this week, so I think that hurts Jack Doyle a lot. Denver at Oakland. So we talked about floors and ceilings. Derek Carr's ceiling last week was very high because he's going up against the Buccaneers' awful pass defense. But this week against Denver's pass defense, the ceiling's low. How many is he going to get? How many yards is he going to get? 300? I doubt it. 260? Maybe. I think we're looking at 230 to 240 and 1 to 2 touchdowns. Can Denver win this game? Absolutely. Denver is the better team. Excuse me. Can the defense play well? If the defense plays well, it'll hold Derek Carr. I don't like Amari Cooper this week. I like Crabtree. I like Seth Roberts. For Denver, is Booker healthy? If he is, great. If not, they're in trouble. Will Simeon throw the ball to Thomas and Sanders? I hope so. I think this should be an Emmanuel Sanders week, but I really think this is a field goal week. This is a big, big field goal week. Okay? Lastly, Buffalo at Seattle. I think these teams are mirrors of each other. I do. I look at them and I say they're mirrors of each other. Why? Because I think Buffalo wants to be who Seattle is. Buffalo wants to run a lot, throw some play action, and play some good defense. And on occasion, they do that. When they have LaShawn McCoy there, they do that. Right? When LaShawn McCoy's not there, you have Gillislee, it's harder. They have no receivers. Seattle at least has Jimmy Graham and Doug Baldwin and Curse. Right? So Seattle just does Buffalo better than Buffalo. That's it. They're just better. So I think this is a Christian Michael game. We'll talk about this more Monday night as we look at it. So right now, what do? There were a lot of points scored in this game on Thursday. So as fantasy owners, we've got to get aggressive. If we played against Matt Ryan, if we played against Jameis Winston, if we played against Julio Jones, if we played against Mike Evans, we have to start guys with high ceilings. High ceilings means the risk reward is great. Right? A high floor means, well, I know he's going to be okay, but is he going to be special? I want high ceilings, especially if I've gone up against guys who are very good. So you need to be very careful with that. Okay? Amari Cooper, not a high ceiling. Right? Would I bench Amari Cooper for Terrell Pryor? Yeah, I would. I would. Because I think Pryor has a higher ceiling this week. I love Amari Cooper, but not against the Denver Broncos. So if you're struggling, if you're trying to decide what to do and who to start, think of what is their ceiling. If all goes well, what could this player do? At his best day, what can this player do? And on his worst day, what can he do? Right? When I do my projections, I always want to be conservative. Look, I really think Christian Michael is going to have 100 yards and a touchdown. But if you ask me for a projection, I'll say 75. Why? I want to be conservative. That way, if I get more than 75, boom, help me out. But if I go, oh yeah, 100 and a touch, and he gives me 75, I'm disappointed. Right? So I think that's a mistake that people make in all sports, whether it's fantasy baseball, basketball, or certainly football. Be conservative with your projections. Don't be aggressive. Aggressive projections doesn't make you a winner. They don't make you a winner. But you know what will make you a winner? Being with scoutfantasy.com. 2 promo codes for you. One, Roto, which is ROTO. Pay for 1 month, we'll get you 2 more for free. Or RONIS, RONIS. Either one of these promo codes will hook you up. And if you are hooked up, you're going to get Sean Childs' amazing DFS info. You're going to get our Scout scores, which will help you set your lineups for both football and basketball. You're going to get access to our message boards with my man Adam Ronis. He's in there. Dr. Roto, Mark Deming, other people who are answering questions, and members answering each other's questions. You get the Daily Armory, guys who are helping you set cash lineups so you can win money in DFS. Remember, we want you to win in seasonal and DFS. And of course in NBA as well. And hockey. Don't forget Cappy in hockey and Nate Weitzer in basketball. And Ronis in basketball. We're trying to get you guys paid. I want you to be my rich friend. So go to scoutfantasy.com, enter either the promo code ROTO or RONIS, and you'll get it done. All right, guys. Time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Let's keep a very close eye on the practice reports. Friday practice reports are key. Who's in, who's out, what's the coach speak, who's going to get the time, who's going to get the targets. Watch that closely. Remember, get onto our premium boards and Scout. If you have questions, we'll be answering them all weekend. We're trying to make you a winner, guys, in the Scout Army. That's how we roll. All right, good luck in week 9. Be well. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!